Will social grants and NSFAS disappear if the ANC loses power? In January, President Cyril Ramaphosa was reported to have told an ANC rally in Mpumalanga that only the ANC could be relied on to keep supporting South Africa's poor via the social grants system and the National Student Financial Aid Scheme, NSFAS. I'm Rebecca Davis, senior journalist for the Daily Maverick. According to The Citizen, Ramaphosa said that there were no guarantees that other South African political parties would continue with these poverty alleviation programs if the ANC was voted out of power. Ramaphosa said, quote, "We do not know if these other organizations will have the determination we have," end quote, in terms of uplifting the disadvantaged. His comments caused outrage from opposition parties, but is there any basis for Ramaphosa's allegations? As analyst Kaya Sitole has pointed out, altogether, over 20 million South Africans cumulatively relied last year on the fairly meager financial support offered by social grants via the South African Social Security Agency and student funding via NSFAS. Any new government which suddenly proposed doing away with these financial lifelines would be in a world of pain, both in terms of social unrest and in terms of constitutional challenges. But beyond that, what if opposition parties actually promised when it comes to social grants and to student funding? The DA has fought this social grants claim from the ANC before, which is why the party's social development policy explicitly states, quote, "Social grants are a constitutional right, and any suggestion that the DA would take them away if elected into national government is patently false and misleading," end quote. When it comes to detailed pledges about social grants, the DA specifies just one, which is that the child support grant would increase under a DA government from the current 510 Rand a month to 760 Rand a month. DA leader John Steenhuisen did add in a recent newsletter, however, that the DA does support a basic income grant in theory, quote, "but only in the context of economic growth that makes it affordable and viable," end quote. As for student funding, the DA proposes comprehensive reforms to NSFAS. This would see students from poorer households have access to government loans to be repaid later, but also with the possibility of conversion to scholarships for high academic achievement. Moving on to other opposition parties, EFF leader Julius Malema recently promised that an EFF government would increase the current 350 Rand a month hardship grant introduced during COVID on a sliding scale based on your educational qualifications to a maximum of 6,000 Rand a month if you have an honours degree. The EFF has also pledged free basic services to everyone who gets a social grant. As for student funding, the EFF's 2019 manifesto says it will cancel all student debt and provide free higher education for all until a first degree. The third largest party in South Africa, the Inkatha Freedom Party, actually takes credit for the whole idea of social grants, pointing out in a recent newsletter from leader Velenkosini Tlhabisa that the KwaZulu government under Mangosuthu Buthelezi introduced social grants long before democracy. So the IFP too says it will stick with social grants and potentially increase them. The IFP's 2019 manifesto does not specify exactly how it wants students to be funded, but an October 2023 statement from the party refers to NSFAS as being of critical importance. Newer parties seem to be similarly keen on social grants. Herman Mashaba's action essay says it would expand them and add a new basic income grant. Rise Mzansi says it favors a combination of income grants and other measures, such as food vouchers for grant recipients. Of course, political parties can promise voters anything before they get into power. Before the last elections, for instance, the EFF promised that it would equip every school in South Africa with an in-house orthodontist. But there seems little doubt, given the current state of local unemployment, that any party or parties which does succeed in dislodging the ANC in the upcoming elections would have to maintain a robust social welfare system or face anarchy.